And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you here this morning. This morning. Uh, what is it? It's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. And that means it is time for the Growing Edge. This is an opportunity to come together and I guess it's a number of things. Uh, it's an opportunity for me to share what's going on in the world as I see it, as far as the growing edge of this ministry, of this organization that we've got going on here, of this family that we've got that's growing, and all the ways that people are coming together to bring forth this vision, this mission, right? And I started there with our vision and mission in one of the videos that we have that shares that a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment. And that to me covers a wide swath of what's possible and what's available and what we can do. And more people, conversations all the time with more and more folks around what this can look like and how this can show up and more. So now in this, I have been sharing with you, many of you, a number of different books and a number of different things. One of the things I don't know that I've talked about too much. I think I've mentioned Michael Singer and The Untethered Soul a bit, but I don't know if we've talked about the Surrender Experiment. And I believe that there is something absolutely duplicatable and miraculous in what Michael shares in the book, The Surrender Experiment. If you're watching and you know the writings, please shout out. Let us know in the comments. And there is a vision emerging for New Thought Media Network for something a little beyond New Thought Media Network. Something that is part of and yet unique in and of itself within the New Thought Media Network family. So, New Thought Media Network, there's some distinct ideas within that. New Thought Radio is one of them. New Thought Talk Radio is another unique, distinct idea within this grander vision. New Thought Meditation Radio and a New Thought meditation station is, which I think is probably both a blend of video and audio, but we'll see. I believe there's numerous ways to outpicture the vision that we have. And that's why it's a global broadcast network of people, creators, ways of producing, ways of production, different ways of bringing forth the message that is New Thought and is a blend and is an evolving expression of New Thought. Some would call it True Thought. Some have called it Next Thought. I've heard it called New Thought 2.0. I'm not here to put any labels on it. It's New Thought. It's an evolution of the philosophy that is born out of a number of great luminaries over time. And we as individuals on this planet are being invited into an experience of demonstrating and expressing and sharing that in the world. That's part of what we're doing. That's part of what I'm doing. And I know that those watching along are generally on board and with us as far as doing this as well. So what the Surrender Experiment talks about is Michael's journey of, in many ways, setting a grand intention. And that grand intention is that if you haven't read it, spoiler alert, big spoiler alert coming. They, as himself, he purchased a small piece of property, and along the way, that was empty, nothing really, swampland, and began to grow and expand, and they had a policy of, if something becomes available that borders on our property, we'll find a way to buy it. Great philosophy. They've grown that retreat center that he started with 5 acres into several hundred. I can't remember the number exactly, forgive me. There is a vision of an intentional community birthing itself as one of the aspects underneath the grand umbrella. Not as the only thing, just as video broadcasting is not the only thing, and just as the radio is not the only thing, and just as the talk radio, which is coming, which is being envisioned and worked on in the mind of God, and all the different and various ways that we're here attracting people to this community, this vision. One of the things that we see is a centralized location for people that want to be a part of a physical experience, a physical community, an intentional community in the mountains of Colorado. Now, this vision's been emerging within my visioning experience for a couple of years now. I can go back several years to early opportunities, early experiences where bits and pieces of this vision have been emerging. And I love being able to do that, because the idea of a campus in the woods, the idea of space in the mountains that is a shared opportunity for people to work and live in communion with each other, with nature, with spirit, with the ideals and the principles of New Thought. And there isn't room for everybody. There can't be room for everybody. But for those that want to take that step right away, there is an opportunity. And for those that, wow, that's someday, then that opportunity will be there that day. Because what I know is, number one, I personally don't have the money to buy the property we're looking at. However, I know there's money in the universe to buy that property. I know that property needs to change hands. I know there's, and if not this, something better. That there's always another way. Always another way. Ooh. So, there's someone that I'm loosely connected with, not even really connected with, just aware of. Let the global transformers converge. I like that name. Global Transformers. Yes, Diego. And yes, I believe this is the teachings of New Thought Outpicturing. Thank you, Wade. And hello, Lisa is envisioning a center for. And yes, I know Lisa is envisioning her work and using the visioning process through and in her work. Soul Call Sanctuary, Soul Call Ministries is doing great work. Support these folks. Go check them out. I don't have a link in front of me, and I'll grab one and drop it into the chat if I give it a chance here. There is a movement towards more intentional living, however that looks. However that looks. That is the call for me in my life. That is where I am in my life. And, um, okay, I'm still in the first half of the 50s. So I haven't hit the big double nickel yet. But I'm still in the first half of my life. Easily. I don't want to say I'm even close to middle age yet. I'd like to go to about 120, 125, I think. Could be a good number. Point being, we've got plenty of time and we've got plenty of space and we've got plenty of people and we got plenty of resources, because what we're drawing on is that one unlimited resource. And that's the growing edge. The growing edge right now for me is to be able to say, oh my gosh, do I really believe in myself to sit in the seat at the growing edge, at the front of the spear, in that visionary role for a company or organization? Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Terry. That's the... do I really deserve being in that role? Can I really fulfill that role? At the head of an organization, at the leading edge of an organization that isn't mine, but is mine to serve in this time. It is not mine, but it is mine to serve in this time. And what I know is as I get clear what is mine, what I am capable of, and where my strengths are, and as I get clear on finding support and help and volunteers and people to serve and people that get paid and all the different ways that organizations happen, I believe there is a great current of wisdom and resources and finances and everything necessary to make a vision to fulfill this great vision that's been knocking on my door, and I will say it, for decades. We first envisioned a virtual community, a center for spiritual living without walls. I first envisioned walls dissolving into light and light beams connecting pieces of an organization in 2002, 3, 4, maybe. I forget exactly where it started. And for the longest time, for those that have been with me over these years who know, have seen anything I've done in the past, there were numerous starts and stops and twists and turns, and it's been a while figuring it all out. But I do believe I have seen in physical form. Now, I know I have seen in physical form demonstrations of my vision. That's no question. The microphone I'm sitting in front of, the fact that you and I are connected in this way, the fact that you're watching this program, the fact that we're getting to share in any way in this manner is part of the demonstration of a vision. Agape International Spiritual Center and Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith started with a vision, with visioning, and started with a vision of being broadcast into people's homes, and had no idea how they would do that when they started their community 30 years ago now, 20, whatever it is. And in that, they caught the vision before it was manifest and before there was the tech to manifest it, before we knew where the tech to manifest it came from. But the tech caught up with the vision. The reality caught up with the vision. So what that tells us, and again and again and again and again, and there are, uh, we could probably a good research project for a student somewhere. Pull up demonstrable stories of where here is where we envision this. Here are the notes and this date, and here's where we envision this, and here's where it comes to fruition. Now, there are often times where it seems like what's in the vision is coming into demonstration immediately, and there are times when it feels like, my gosh, where is that, and how is that ever going to happen? And it gets lost in, well, in the years. It can get lost in the years. I had a conversation with a ministerial colleague who I owe a phone call to, and probably in 2009, 10, maybe 2010, maybe just over a decade ago. And she asked me what would, and um, um, and she asked me, and I forget how we got into this conversation, and I forgot how we got to this point, but there was, I shared with her that at one point I had been very inspired when living in Salt Lake City. I had been very inspired. The city of Salt Lake built a new, rebuilt, redesigned, reimagined their library. And in the reimagining of this library, there was a piece of kind of almost like a new concept of a strip mall, but it wasn't a strip mall. But it was a series of inline stores that were sort of attached to the structure of the library, but not really inside the library. And one of them on the very end was dedicated, and maybe still is. I should look into that. And it was dedicated to a community radio station. And it was sort of like a fishbowl. You could watch the community radio, the talk show hosts and the DJ, and they were mostly talk show hosts. They did mostly interviews and such. And you could watch them do their work inside the studio. So, like, they're surrounded by glass and people walk. And we've seen this, but here it was in this community based nonprofit radio station. And I was always captivated by that concept. And I started to share that with her. And we started to imagine this vision of, well, maybe what if that wasn't a strip mall? And what if there were a few inline stores and it was radio and video and other things? And that was over a decade. I wasn't ready for what we were imagining back then. And what my vision could encompass back then was just enough to keep me on moving in a direction and not being distracted by, but doing the work necessary to prepare me for what's before us, to move me through the experiences, and the healings necessary with many of those experiences. Um, Man, I should have pulled up that meme. I saw it, um, or a quote that I was looking for another program, um, and comes to me. Um, to paraphrase badly, and I'm sorry, I forget where this is coming, but the point of it was that sometimes our greatest healings happen in the midst of what appear to be our darkest nights, in the midst of the greatest despair, in the midst of when we don't know what in the world is going on. And I've had those, and I know you have too. And I've had other experiences, and I know you have too. And I've had places where I've created judgments about how organizations are run. And as somebody out, who's been immersed in learning more and more and more, it's constantly a an immersion program in nonprofit leadership. And I've been doing it for 10, 12, 14, 56, coming up on 20 years since I discovered the New Thought movement, since I discovered this philosophy. August of 2001. First time I walked into a religious science church. August 2001. First time I picked up a copy of the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes. Had never heard of Unity Church, had never heard of A Course in Miracles. God stood for the great outdoors. Now, in those 20 years, I believe I have been qualified to follow the call, to lead where I am told, to lead where I am called, to demonstrate a unique vision, a unique experience, a unique aspect of spiritual living, of living according to New Thought principles and practices. And in that, not just I, but there's a principle that has been that has been shouted and repeated and echoed and amplified and often ignored, but always true. It takes a village. We say it about kids. It takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village to raise teenagers. It takes a village to raise a good garden. It takes a village to raise ourselves. It takes a village. New Thought Media Network is part of a bigger vision to raise up a village that is both physical and virtual. Thank you, Diego. I'll let everybody read that. I'm in for growing together. I think there's something. Let it grow. Like we are the ones we've been waiting for. Now is the time to grow. The growing edge is how do we do this together, not how do a whole bunch of us do this simultaneously away from each other. Oh, I got to try something. Hold on. You ready? Yeah, I don't know that I like it. We were experimenting. I don't know that I like it, Diego. Yeah, I'd have to get used to it. See, it's a growing edge piece. Brother Diego and myself, we've been talking about how to get rid of the glare of the glasses, and this is the trick, right? You tip it up, and no, well, we'll try it for a little bit. And yes, we are captains of our own experience. And it's okay to take a hand off the wheel once in a while. As long as there's not too many people in your lane at that point. That's why it's important. As long as you're staying in your lane. But no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what's going on in the lives of those around you, no matter what is calling you, I believe the choice is clear. You have to follow that calling. Because the alternative is to bury our head in the sand and pretend that we don't know this stuff. To pretend we don't know how this stuff works. However, once you know, and I've said this for a long time, yeah, that just doesn't work. Sorry. What I've learned quite a while ago, we're making it up as we go along. We got to figure out a way to make it up so that it works for us, and in the working for us in a way that harms no one else. Now, what better way to activate that, to actualize that? What better way to live that than be surrounded by people that are all working towards a common goal, that are all working towards a common mission. I am I have been inspired. I'm afraid to say this publicly, but I've been inspired to look at what are the legal trappings and paperworks and file, and what does it really take to launch an intentional community where everybody that's involved has equity, and there's all the bylaws and all the things that got to go involved with all of that, and there's a lot of legal paperwork that's got to go along with something like that. It's never anything I thought I wanted to do, and Spirit's saying, yeah, and you might want to be aware of some of this. You might not be doing it all, but you might want to be aware of some of this stuff. It's a growing edge. There's a For the longest time, I have spoken now to the fact that everything necessary for the complete and total fulfillment of my mission on this planet comes to me exactly as necessary. So what I have to do is I have to be happy with and excited about and involved with what's in front of me and what's coming to me. Not what I could have done or should have done, not what might happen or could happen, but what's right, what feels right, what is calling, where is there truly that internal pull, right? So I've been alluding to this. So here's the growing edge. I'm calling it the evergreen dream. Uh, I've become aware of a piece of property. It's several $1,000,000. I am not going to allow myself to be in a belief in lack that it can't be done. I can be honest that I have no clue how this can happen, or how this yet, and that's okay, because our job is not to focus on the how, it's to focus on the what. And if not this, something better. This or something better. And I felt so called that took a drive. Laura and I jumped in the car, took a drive, went, looked at, drove through. No appointment, nobody's. It doesn't appear anybody's living there, and um, and we didn't, we weren't just hanging out. We didn't go exploring the property or 10 acres. It's the evergreen dream, and it's there for the visionaries that can say yes to it. That's the key. It is there for the visionaries that can say yes to it. And if we collectively, if I in my own right and you in your own right, prepared to bring your gifts, your skills, your talents, your everything to a project such as this, then there's nothing that can stop us. Because if it's not this, then it's going to be something better. But what if now is the time? What if right now is the time? And what if right now it is only just a shifting consciousness in enough of us to say this is possible? And not only is this possible, but this is probable, because this is a divine vision manifesting itself, a vision that's 20 years or more in the making. I've probably been tapped into this, for me, this feels like a life, the glorious next adventure on a lifelong vision. And it may not be where I end, and it may not be where you end, and it may not even be for everybody, and I know it's not for everybody. But what if this is the seed? And then we follow Michael Singer's advice, and anytime anything that comes borders our property comes for sale, we find a way to buy it. And slowly but surely we buy the whole mountaintop. And we create a community for creators, for new thought, for a true new thought community. Because it takes a village. So that is the growing edge. There it is. You know, I want to thank those of you that watch this program, because this is an opportunity for me to really to share a part of the vision in a what I trust is inspiring and authentic way. And I trust that it's calling you into your greatness. There's there is a great opportunity, and I'm excited. I got to get out of here though. So here's the agreement. I'm going to keep on casting the vision. I'm going to do what Spirit calls me to do to support this vision, to support this network, to support this idea, to support everyone that's willing to show up and be a part of all of this. If you are too, please keep showing up. If you're already on a committed donation plan, thank you. Thank you so very much. Every month we're getting closer and closer to that break even, that point where I can start drawing a salary from this every week, every day, every time, every month. Thank you. For those that are new to our community, and if you're inspired here, please drop a comment in the comment box. If you're watching this on the replay, I'll check back in on it, say hello. If you're new to the community, you want to hit that donate button and just drop a few bucks in the plate, that's a great way to get started helping us share this mighty message. For now, I'm going to get out of here, get back into what I'm doing. What's today? Today is Tuesday. That means New Thought today at 2 o'clock. And, oh, hey now, remember, where's my overlay? Remember today at 3, it's Vibrant Living Hour with Ken Ludwig, brand new show. This is episode number 2, second week, second time around, but not the first radio for Ken. So join us again. We'll be back at 2 with New Thought today, Reverend LZ and myself, and then 3 o'clock with Ken Ludwig, the Vibrant Living Hour. All right, I'm out of here, folks. I love you. You were amazing. You were peace and blessings, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Until then, bye now.